What's happening, people? Dan Lawless here, back with another opposition preview. This time I'm joined by Chris Reeve from Talk Norwich City, back in the Premier League. Welcome, Chris.
Come on. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys welcoming us on. Really appreciate it.
So you just lost to Crawley last night in the Carabao Cup. How did that go for you guys, mate?
Really badly, actually. It's the first time this season where some supporters have gone, oof, that's really not good. I mean, losing to a League Two side as a Premier League side is embarrassing. Yes, it was away from home. Yes, we made some wholesale changes. We made 9 changes yesterday. But quite frankly, it's not good enough for Norwich City standards. Personally, I'm not particularly worried about it. What's made it really sour is one of our key players, one of our most experienced players, our centre back Tim Close, who we signed last time we were in the Prem, is now injured with an ACL, and it's put a really sour taste in the mouth for Norwich City fans ahead of the game against West Ham. So possibly a good time to play us, possibly not. But look, I think it's worth saying straight away, you know, from a Norwich City supporters' point of view, the start of this season has been a successful one. You know, you might have, I don't know if you watched the Liverpool game yourself, but the first half, you know, I'll hold my hands up and say, you know, we made a couple of defensive howlers, got a wee bit unlucky as well. Second half, we did ourselves really proud. Obviously, of course, we scored at Anfield, which is something that a lot of teams can't do. A lot of teams park the bus. We didn't do it. That's the one thing that you'll get with this Norwich City side, is that we are going to do it our way. A lot of neutrals, a lot of supporters of other clubs will say we're naive. They'll say we've not spent enough money. But we've secured some really, really excellent up-and-coming young talent. For example, Max Aarons, who won Young Player of the Year. Jamal Lewis on the other side. We've got, honestly, Ben Godfrey at the back, who's probably already worth 20 to 25 million. Very, very impressive indeed. We then, you know, have Newcastle at home. It's our first game at Carrow of the season. And, you know, we absolutely dominated them. And looking at their performance against Tottenham, of course, beating them 1-0, it actually screams that we actually did exceptionally well against Newcastle. We really did play them off the park. It was really encouraging. Norwich really confident. You can say what you like about Newcastle, but under Rafa Benitez, they certainly were very defensively organised, and I think they've inherited some of that under Steve Bruce. And then going into the Chelsea at home game, you know, we were toe-to-toe, and I know you boys don't like them so much, but we were toe-to-toe with the Europa League, you know, champions. And for Norwich City Football Club, that is an achievement in itself. You know, I'll happily admit they were the better side, but it was very much a case of, you know, if we'd scored, I think it would have been, of course, it would have been different. I just felt like, you know, they were on the ropes, Chelsea. You know, they applied a lot of pressure, but Norwich City, again, we did it our way. We didn't park the bus. We went out and we attacked the game. And for all of you West Ham fans watching, that's exactly what we'll be doing at the London Stadium on Saturday. We'll be very proactive and we'll be attacking the game.
It's funny, you know, you and I was actually talking off camera about players that have played for both West Ham and Norwich, and I've just remembered that you signed Sam Byram off us for £750,000.
That was our biggest signing this summer, by the way.
Really? Wow.
How bad is that?
That's crazy.
$750,000.
I was shocked at the price tag. I couldn't believe it and I know he's had injuries, but to be a young English player and to go for that much money.
Exactly. And that says an awful lot about Stuart Webber, who's our new sporting director. Say new, not new anymore, but newish. And, you know, he's got an eye for talent. And I think that Sam Byram, much like a lot of our other players, has got a point to prove. And that's exactly why we've signed him. And I was listening to a lot of the social media reaction from West Ham fans when we signed Sam Byram. A lot of them were saying, you know, he's a bit of a walking sick note. And fine, he might be, he could be. At the moment, he's shown some promising stuff. It's going to take him a while to bed in. It might take him a whole season. But I think we've very much signed Sam Byram in a sense of, if Max Aarons starts exceptionally well to this campaign, which he has already, he could easily be sold in January for double digits. So that's why we've signed Sam Byram. Yes, the figure was surprising. I totally agree. Young English talent from West Ham. How much did you sign him for from Leeds? Remind me.
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I know it was a lot
Was it
long.
3? I don't know.
I think it was a bit
Maybe
more
was
than
3.
that.
No.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. I'm sure it was around the 5 million mark. I remember it
Yeah.
being a lot more than that. And yeah, I mean, I think if you keep him fit, you've got a quality right back there. He showed some real glimpses of what he could do, and it was just hard because it was just so stop start, and he just didn't get that good run. But yeah, I think he's a good player, and I have to say that announcement video was my favourite player announcement video ever.
Well, Sam Byram.
Yeah, the one that you guys did for Sam Byram. He sort of
walks up to the chair.
Yeah, he walks up to the chair and he's like, "I'm Sam Byram and I'm your new signing," or something like that. And that's
Job
it.
done.
No frills. I think that really summed up Norwich's approach going into this season of we're not spending any money on anything.
We've literally, I mean, there's various things that I could point you to. And we had Stuart Webber on our podcast, the Talk Norwich City podcast, shameless plug. And he literally said before the season start, we're here to piss some people off. We've got 38 free hits, and we're going to see what we can do against some of the best teams in the world. And that's exactly our attitude. So it will make for a very exciting game, and it will be quite strange, perhaps, but a lot of people have already kind of said, you know what, I really hope Norwich stay up because we're giving it a good go and we're doing something different. And we've got a way, so to speak. We're not just trying to botch it. We're not trying to just do a Sam Allardyce park the bus. We're not doing any of that nonsense. We're playing some really, really attractive football, and it's a joy to watch. Speaking of other West Ham Norwich links, I vividly remember as a kid being heartbroken by the transfer that was Malky Mackay from Norwich to West Ham. I'm not sure if you remember Malky, but he was colossal at the back for us. He was a big part of our team. And then, of course, Dean Ashton, who we had on our podcast, who holds you guys in extremely high regard, of course. Such a shame about his injury. Robert Green, Snoddy. By the way, Norwich fans, we love Snoddy. There was a moment where it was in his last season for us where we call it the snake pit, which is our noisy area of our ground. We're giving Snodgrass some stick, and Snoddy just turned round and just stuck his middle finger up at the fans. But ever since then, there was this real cohesion and connection, and it was like, yeah, good. And I don't know what you West Ham fans make of Robert Snodgrass, but I love the fact that he's such a workhorse and he's so passionate, and he's just got that natural British grit about him. I love watching him play, and he's a fantastic kick taker.
Yeah, Dean Ashton is still loved at West Ham.
What a guy.
I mean, he played in Mark Noble's testimonial.
Yes, what about the overhead kick?
Yeah, the overhead kick, unbelievable. You know, and he can do that in the the shape that he's in. It just shows.
I must say, seriously, and again, another shameless plug, but West Ham fans, there's some real good clips in it for you as well. We not fairly recently. If you go onto our YouTube channel, Talk Norwich City, you go playlists, podcasts. We've done a fantastic podcast with Dean Ashton where he speaks about, of course, his injuries throughout his career, his time at West Ham. And it's a fascinating watch. I mean, what a guy Dean Ashton is. You know what I love about Dean Ashton? He's just so humble. And you don't get that enough these days. And I feel like it was just desperately unlucky, his time with England and the way he got injured. It's just such a shame to see. But I tell you what, that goal was fantastic. And you know what? Maybe we'll see Teemu Pukki repeat it at the London Stadium on Saturday.
You know what? That's one. That's a player obviously I'm very worried about. What's he got? 5 goals in 3 games? Is it 5 and 3? Unbelievable. You got him cheap. I think we were linked with him and passed on him.
Free.
Which
we didn't pay a penny for it.
Free, yeah, that was it. Free. I think we were linked. I was hearing recently that we were linked with him and we passed on him, which is typical West Ham. Anytime any player turns out to be good, it's you hear that we were linked with them and passed on them because that's just what West Ham do. But unbelievable signing for you guys. Yeah. I mean, he was banging in goals in the Championship, but there's always that question mark as if you can do it in the Premier League. I mean, wow, what a player you guys have in your hands.
Absolutely 100%. It's been the best free signing ever for Norwich City and actually arguably the Championship. I would honestly say that. You'd be looking at the Premier League possibly as well now. Genuinely, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year. It's weird that you should say, will Teemu Pukki make that transition from the Championship to the Premier League? A lot of Norwich City fans would agree with me, and you'll see this at London Stadium on Saturday, that we're dead comfortable with the Premier League. And it sounds arrogant, but it's true. A lot of our players are much better suited to the Premier League, given more space and time, believe it or not. A lot of our players like to play it on the floor. Premier League is very much play it on the floor. Stoke aren't here anymore, bless their hearts. So, we've got players like Moritz Leitner, who we've signed from Borussia Dortmund, who's definitely much better suited to the Premier League. Teemu Pukki, who you quite rightly say, the thing that Teemu Pukki does exceptionally well, that he doesn't get enough plaudits for, is he's so intelligent. His runs are so clever, and he will create spaces and opportunities for others. And actually, my man to watch for you guys at the weekend is Todd Cantwell. Be careful with Todd, because not that I should be publicising this too much, but he is a young guy. He's got a point to prove. He was a fringe player last season, and he is taken to the Premier League by storm. If you're a fantasy league player, get him in, because he's like 4.5 or 4.6 or something, dead cheap. And he's just delivering. He's a really nippy little young player, loads of twists and turns, and playing with a player like Teemu Pukki will create a lot of space for Todd. But, and I'm sure a lot of West Ham fans will obviously they'll hate him on Saturday, but I think one of the things that I really admire about Teemu is he's got that build of that classic big, bulky centre forward that's not going to mess around, but he's just dead quiet. If you listen to all of his interviews, he's really chilled. There's no arrogance. And in Finland, he's a celebrity right now, an absolute celebrity. They're not dreaming of Ronaldo. They're not dreaming of being Messi. They're dreaming of being Teemu Pukki.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. It's a game that I'm sort of nervous about, and it's for us. A lot of us, we feel like it's gonna. Yeah, I mean, you'll be happy to hear that. But for a lot of us, it feels like it's really going to tell us where we are and sort of how our season's going to go, because obviously we lost 5-0 at home to Man City, but then you had the question, the asterisk to say, well, it's Man City. Then we went away to Brighton and we didn't play particularly well, but we got a point. And then you say, well, is it good to have a point away at Brighton? We didn't play particularly well at Watford, and we won 3-1. But how we play against Norwich at home is going to tell us everything. If we struggle, I think then it's going to really set the tone. So I think for a lot of us, we're really eager to see how we perform. And like I said, you've got some dangerous attacking players. It's how we get at you with defensively. I think seems to be where we'll get the most joy. I mean, would you that correct? I mean, what's sort of like the main holes defensively for you guys?
I think so. First of all, in terms of the team as a whole, up front, midfield. Absolutely exceptional, really, really, really good. But as I say, at the moment, our weak spot is in that centre back position. Ben Godfrey is absolutely a colossal. He's an exceptional player. I think his agent is Rio Ferdinand, so it says a lot that he's being looked after by someone of his calibre. And of course, you guys will love Rio as well. I think. Yeah, defensively, we look fragile. And I would say in and around the edge of the box, particularly, I think you could really drag us out of position. I look at players like Snoddy. I look at players like Lanzini. You know what? I love the fact I still call him Snoddy. Players like Lanzini. I really do think that with Mason Mount, we really struggled. I'm not, I definitely think that he had the game of his life against Norwich. Tammy Abraham again had the game of his life against Norwich, but what did they do against us that broke us down? It was just that sheer tempo and pace. So if you guys can find that space in between our midfield and defence, you'll do well. But sitting there is, of course, a former Borussia Dortmund player that's won the Champions League, and Tom Tribal, who is grossly underrated. And his chant is that he never gives the ball away. That is his chant. So it's not going to be easy for West Ham, but it's not going to be easy for Norwich, certainly. And it's interesting that you guys think that, this is like a big moment for you in terms of defining your season. I don't think this defines Norwich's season. I think there's more pressure on West Ham, 100%, because particularly going away from home this season, it is a bit of a bonus ball for Norwich. But with all the love and respect in the world, we probably are as optimistic about this game as we were against Newcastle. This is a game that Norwich City can assert our style of play on. When we come up against teams like Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man U, Man City, Tottenham, no Norwich fan truly expects to get points. But genuinely, if Norwich don't come away from London Stadium with a point at the weekend, we will be gutted. And it's with no disrespect to you guys, because you can be very good on your day, and it's like us as well. We can be very good on our day, but then we are a liability at the back. So it's a fascinating encounter coming up. I definitely think there'll be goals. If you're a betting man, I'm not sure I'm meant to be promoting betting, but I would definitely bank on both teams scoring for sure. And I think it will be a really exciting game to watch. I'm going to be there. Can't wait to get in and experience the atmosphere. It's my first time at the London Stadium. I love the Boleyn. It's a real shame because I see very much the Boleyn as you guys are a bit sore about that. I'm not sure I should be talking about that. But
yeah, no, go for it.
It was of the same ilk of Carrow Road. It had that soul, that spirit, and of course you guys had all that trouble when you first moved in. Hopefully that's settled down now. But nonetheless, I'm very excited to get down there and experience the atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, I mean it will be an interesting one. I think the fans will be up for it.
Yeah,
because it will be a game like, it's against, it's a game we can win. It's a Saturday. I think the alcohol will be flowing, and I think people will be in good spirits. And obviously we've got Sebastian Haller will be playing after he's just scored 2 goals.
Who, by the way, Norwich City were very close to signing. He actually came from medical to Colney. But I think it was personal terms it fell down on. So it's an interesting link there. I think Sebastian Haller is pardon the pun, a hell of a player. I really do. I think that again, you look at his pace, his tempo, his intelligence. So cool. He's so cool. And he is a player that I'm certainly scared of coming up against at the weekend.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him and how he does on Saturday. We've got obviously Pablo Fornals as well, another new signing. We've got, like you said, Lanzini, Felipe Anderson. So we have got that squad depth. It's the high line that's attacking players, like I said. And then you've got Snodgrass on the bench, and you've got Jack Wilshere when he's on it. So attacking players, Yarmolenko as well. So we've got a lot of depth up front. It's sort of defensively we've been worried. It's this high line that we play. And because we don't press from the front like we should be doing if we're playing a high line, we tend to get caught out. So there could be a chance, maybe a ball over the top to Pukki or something like that. And he's running at Fabianski. So
I tell you what, it certainly won't be balls over the top. That's one thing that you need to know right now, that it will be very much on the floor. 2-touch tops football, and through balls were very, very dangerous with through balls. So if you are weak in that area, that is news for you guys.
That is something you can, because there's times when we are playing, like I said, that high line, and there's just way too much space between the defenders to where the point of one through ball, if it can easily catch us out. So that's going to be very interesting. I think we're just going to attack it from the front foot.
Keep telling me.
It's going to be one of them. I think we're just going to look to outscore you guys. That's going to be the game plan. Outscore you guys.
And you know what? This is why I'm genuinely so excited. I'm dead excited. I'm so, nothing more fills me with boredom than the idea of going to Burnley away. But coming up against West Ham, 2 teams that are just going to go at each other. It's just going to be who can score more, because Norwich will have that exact same opinion. It'll be, if you score 1, we'll try and score 2 more. And I genuinely, I can't explain how buzzing I am to see. I really am.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great game. And before we go, can I push you for a score prediction?
Yes, you can. And I'm gonna play it safe, which is a bit boring, but I'm gonna go for a Desmond 2-2. I honestly think there'll be goals. I think that both teams will give it some. I think I could see West Ham going 2 up and caving. I could see Norwich going 2 up and caving. Or you could just see each other chomping at the bit. I certainly don't think it'll be God, I count my lucky stars, touch wood. I certainly can't see it being a whitewash to either team, and it definitely will not be a clean sheet for sure. There will be a lot of goals in this game.
Brilliant. I mean, if I was to go for it, I mean, I predicted 3-1 against Watford, and I was right. I'm going to predict a 3-2 to West Ham. I'm going to be an optimistic West Ham fan. I've got to do it. I've got that feeling. I think you guys pose more of a threat than Watford up front, but I think with the attacking players that we've got, we're going to be at home. Apart from if you take the Man City game out of it, we've been very strong at home.
Just to let you know though, Jamal Lewis did have Mo Salah in his back pocket at Liverpool, so just, I don't know, it might not be as easy as you're making it out.
We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. That's what I'm really, really buzzing for that game more than any other. So
I just want to say, before I finish, I just want to say big up to West Ham Fan TV. I've honestly been monitoring your stuff ever since I came on all of those years ago when Norwich were in the Premier League. I love watching it. I really enjoy it. And I think it's such good fun. The fan cams are absolutely hilarious, brilliant. So just want to say keep up the good work. And for all the West Ham fans watching, you've got a really, really good fan channel here in West Ham Fan TV.
no, I really appreciate that, mate, and the feeling's mutual. I've followed your channel obviously since you was in the when you guys were in the Premier League before, and I sort of kept up with it when you guys after you guys got relegated. And I think it's brilliant because it's hard. You know, we've been relegated. I can't imagine how hard it would be to run the fan channel in the Championship. It really takes a lot of hard work and determination. All the extra games and just getting the interest for some of the teams that you're playing. So I think you guys as well have got a really good fan channel. So I was excited when you guys got promoted to go and collab with you guys. So definitely, I would encourage everyone to go and check out their channel. We get a lot of fans of other teams who subscribe to us, who watch us. So if you're a West Ham fan or any other fan who watches us, go and check their channel out because see the highs and lows.
If you want to watch a channel where, quite frankly, we're just, Norwich are just going for it. We're just having a bit of a laugh. So you know what? If you're a West Ham fan, why not subscribe to Talk Norwich City? Because we're in the Premier League. And we're just having a laugh.
So thank you so much for coming on, Chris. And after all of that, there's one thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.